Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. And today's video is going to be really interesting because it's something that has been requested a lot on this channel and something that I had a lot of fun shooting as well. So today we are going to build a collection of 1000 NFTs using just Figma, nothing else, just Figma, pure play Figma. And I'll explain you how you can do that on your own so that you can also upload your NFT collections on different NFT platforms. It's pretty hot right now in the market, and building a collection in Figma actually, which does not require any other software, is really great. So I'm going to explain you how you can do that in Figma. But before we start the video, I have a small announcement to make. So I'm launching my own version of NFTs. It's called Bobo Cats, and it's basically a hand-drawn portraits of cats doing a lot of cool things. We all love cats and we all love crypto, so I thought why not launch something like this. I'm launching this in partnership with one of my artist friend and a really talented illustrator. I'll put up her link in the description. You can go check out her Instagram as well. And basically the whole idea behind this NFT collection is to give some sort of recognition to the design community, to individual artists, and going forward we'll have more collaboration with individual artists here in India as well as in abroad. But we have a lot of other things planned as well in the roadmap. So do follow us on Twitter. We'll be launching our Discord and the website really soon. And early members, early adopters will also get some airdrops, some collection as an airdrop free of cost in their MetaMask wallets, and we'll also be giving some whitelisting spots. So do follow us on Twitter. I'll be putting up the link in the description. And yeah, without further ado, let's get started with our video. So just for this tutorial, I have created this new character and I'm calling it Boxy Boy. And we're going to create 1000 collection for this. This character is nothing but a simple square with some cute expressions on it. Look how cute this looks. And we're going to build this in Figma. Now, before we start the video, a quick disclaimer. In this video, I'm not explaining what NFT is, how NFT works, and what exactly in terms or in general how blockchain works. I think there are tons of video on YouTube. You can just check it out on your own if you want to dwell deeper into the paradigm of NFTs and blockchain. But that is a research that I would like you to do on your own. In this video, we are just going to figure out how can we create a collection in Figma. One more quick thing about these NFT collections. So you can create collections manually and then upload on the different platforms that you have like OpenSea, Rarible. The other way is that you create collections is by using a software or an algorithm to generate these collections. So what we basically do is we define an art piece, we define some traits, characteristics of those art piece, then we fill those characteristics into an algorithm, and that algorithm then spits out different permutation combinations of those characteristics in terms of that art. So when you use a software to create an art, it's also known as generative art. So another way of calling it is generative art, and this is exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to use a plugin in this case to create different collections. So I hope you understood a little bit about it. Now let's start with our video. So step number 1, defining our sketch. So here's a couple of sketches that I've drawn for my character, and let me just break it down for you really quickly. So it's in a square frame, and I'm keeping the frame size to something around 200 by 200 points because it's a scalable vector, so you'll be able to scale it at any size. So make sure the size is not too big, like don't use something like 2000 by 2000 artboard. Use something like 200 or 500, something like that in those ranges, because then the plugin that we're going to use is going to take less time, because if you're using a very big artboard, then the time duration to create that 1000 NFTs will be really long. So make sure you only use something like a fairly small artboard like 200 or 500, so that the plugin is able to generate the content, or the plugin is able to generate the entire collection really fast. That's one thing. And the other thing is, in case you want to upscale those graphics, you can anyway do that because it's a scalable vector. So that out of the way, so I have a square frame here right now, and I've also drawn a small circle around it. So the reason is I want these NFTs to be PFPs, or profile picture NFTs, which basically means that you want users to use them as their profile picture on social media. So for example, on Twitter or on Instagram, they want to use this as their profile picture. So to make sure that that particular thing happens, I've just put them in a circular thing so that I don't draw anything outside of this circle, because that will be chipped off when you upload it on the social media sites. So everything will be contained in this circle. And this is my character. So this character has a bunch of characteristics. So one is it has a body. If you see, this is a simple body that I have added here. A square body with some slant edges. Then you have eyes, then you have mouth. Okay, and it also has a background, so it will be on top of a background color. So these are the basic elements of this entire sketch. And the same thing, I've just added some variations to show you how and what it look like. So in the next variation, let's say we want to change eyes, so eyes could be something like this, and mouth can be the same, or even the eyes could be something like this, or even the mouth can be changed, right? So these, if you see, are different individual traits. So as I talked about, right, we need to define these traits to generate the collection. So I'm figuring out which are the different ways in which we can just create different artwork. If I just switch between the different eyes, I'll be able to generate two different characters. If I just switch between the different mouths, I'll be able to generate a different character altogether again, right? So similarly, you have to design, or you have to define different traits, and you have to make sure that these traits are different so that the plugin can mix it well. So that's the part of the sketch. So in the sketching stage itself, you have to figure out what things are going to be the different characteristics of this particular character or whatever art that you have built. Okay, so that's first step. Now let's move into the second step, which is basically how these traits are made. So if you see here, we had eyes, we have body, we have mouth, we also had a background, right? So same thing I've done here. I have categorized and I've broken down everything into different things. So when we have eyes, so I'll have these different variations of eyes that we can put it up in our collection in the character. Then we have different type of mouth that I have designed, so something like this, and this is entirely in a square frame. I'll explain you how to export these as well, but these are the mouth variation that I want to add. So our plugin can pick up these different mouth variation and put it in combination of these different eyes. Then I also have headgear, so basically something that's going to come on the top of the character's head, like here, the space in between here that is available, we'll be putting something there. Okay, so those are the different variations for headgear. We have hairs, we have spike, we have a crown, we have some caps, hat, and some curly hairs as well. So this is the second trait. This is the third trait that I've designed, is basically a headgear. And then body. So body can also have variations in types of colors. So shape wise remains the same, but it could have different colors associated with it. So a different color means a different character altogether. So even the body color, and you can define anything as well. You can also add different body shapes to create a body character. In this case, I'm just changing the color, and then the background on top of which this character will be displayed. So even the background colors is a trait in my case. So if I switch between two different background colors, it means two different types of characters. And as I said, you can also have exploration of different body types itself. You can have like shapes like this and that. So these are different traits. You just have to break down your entire thing into different independent traits that the algo can mix and match. Now let me quickly explain you how to create the assets. So that is step number 3. So taking the example of the character that we have shown and the traits that I have designed. Now if you see how do exactly you have to export these things. So first of all, everything is added into a background frame. Okay, so this is a background frame, and background frame can be of these different colors that I have added here. So I'll replace the background color with these different colors that I have. The algo will automatically do it for me. Okay, so that's one thing. Now the next thing is basically this body. So first, if you see this body group that I have created, it contains this slanted rectangle that I have, right? So this is the rectangle that I have. Now, if you see the bounding box of this entire thing, so if I just let it be, if you see the body is this much, but when you have to create an exportable component out of it, what you have to do is you have to make sure the bounding box of this frame that contains this shape. So if I just turn off other things, right? So right now I have just this shape. You have to make sure the bounding box is exactly the same as the main artboard frame. Okay. So the reason being is that when the algo places all these things together, it will just place everything randomly. It will not know that you want to place an eye, you want to place a mouth. So you have to make sure that everything is the same size, and then you define position by yourself so that the algo can just, or the plugin can just place the element on top of each other, right? So for example, this body is this much, but I have increased it bounds till the end of the main artboard. Similarly with the eyes, if I show you the eyes here, now even the eyes, if you see, the entire frame is equal to the size of the artboard, right? So if I show you, this is exactly the eye size, but what I have done is I have again increased the size to the same as the frame size, so that when the algo or when the plugin puts in or mix match these different eyes, they are always in the place. So you have to make sure, you also always have to make sure that you do this step correctly. Is basically creating the different components, but making sure the size of those components is the same as the size of the main artboard. If I even show you here in the export panel, so this entire thing is a big PNG with empty space around it, but you have the eyes here. Okay, so that's one thing that you have to maintain. And the similar thing with the mouth as well. If you see, even the mouth has the same bounding box as the main artboard. Okay, so these are different ways. Now the next thing that you have to do is, in the bigger artboard, you have to layer them correctly as well. So if you see, I want my body to be the thing that is in the background, in the behind, and then on top of it I have mouth, and on top of it I have eyes, and even on top of it I have headgear. So you also have to layer these things up well. You have to figure out what things gonna come on what, right? So you have to layer these things well. So even if you see eyes, so in the background, the first thing will be this BG. On top of it we'll have the body. On top of it we can have the headgear. On top of it we have the mouth, and on top of it we have the eyes, so that when the algo places everything, sandwich everything together, everything is in the right order. If you just make body as the topmost layer, then it will hide everything behind it. So make sure that order is also correct, right? And as I said, all the bounding box should be same as the bounding box of the artboard. If you see here, everything is 200 by 200. Everything is 200 by 200. All the bounding boxes are 200 by 200. The asset inside them is smaller, but the bounding box is again 200 by 200. So you have to make sure that everything is 200 by 200, the artboard size, whatever artboard size you're picking, that's the case. Now, this was the defining thing of how you have to create these things in particular set of orders. Now let me quickly create a character, and then we'll show you the plugin and how can you create the NFT. Okay, so now if you want the plugin to work, the first thing that you need to do is you need to create all these things into different component sets. So what I will be doing is, I'll be selecting all the eyes that I have created, let's say, right? I'll select all the eyes that I have created, all the eye variants, and I'll go on top and create component set. So this method only works with component set. So you have to create a component set. So just hit component set, and Figma will create a component set for you. So the component set for eyes is now done. So once you create all the component set, now you'll have all these component set available in your local components on the asset tab. So you'll have the background, you'll have the body, you'll have the eyes, mouth, and the headgear here. Now what we need to do as a next step is to create our character using these components. So as of now, we don't have the component created. So let's create our character using all these components together. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to create an artboard. And again, the artboard is going to be the same size as my all the character sizes, all the component sizes. So 200 by 200 is the size that we had, right? It's here now. And don't add any fill to it. We don't need a fill here in this particular artboard. Now what we want is just keep on dragging the different elements that you have. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to first layer it with my background. So I'm just going to add my background here. So you have to also layer it in a proper way, because that's how the algo is going to pick things up. Then the next thing will be my body. So I'll just keep that as well and center align it as well. If you can see here. Now the next thing that I want on top of it is basically my mouth. So I'm just going to add my mouth here. Okay. The next thing is the eyes. So I'm going to place the eyes here, center align it again. So as I told you, right, everything having the same size makes it very easier for our algo to do it, because you just have to center align things and everything will be in the place. And the last thing that we need is basically the headgear. I'll just place it here and center align it, right? And by the way, you can just change everything from here on the right panel if you want. If you want to add anything else, you can do that. All the different headgears that you have designed is available here. Okay, so it looks really nice. Let's add this. Okay, and you can change virtually anything that you want. And I'm just gonna name this frame, the entire frame that contains all these components. If in the left you can see, I'm just gonna call it main character, and it contains all the components that we want. If you want to just change anything, you can just come here and change it, but it doesn't matter actually. I'm just showing you that this is how the plugin is going to do these things. Okay, so we have our main character ready now, which we have built it from the components. Now what we need to do is we need to run our plugin. So let's quickly do that. So I'm just going to place it quite far away from our component side, something like this. Now you can use two plugins that are available on Figma community. One is called NFT Creator and one is called NFT Creator Unlimited. So I'm going to use this another plugin. Both of them actually works the same way, but this NFT Creator Unlimited is basically allows you to create as many as you want, whereas the other one allows you to create only, let's say 100 or maybe 10 or 100 in one time, and then you have to buy the pro plan to create thousands. So I would recommend this plugin over that, but it's your choice, whichever you want to pick up. Now as soon as you click that plugin, you get this dialog box, and right now it's showing me 15,552 possible combinations. So basically the way we have designed all the component variations, the different variants and the different component set, these are the possible number of combinations that it can generate as the maximum number. So obviously it's up to your choice, whatever you want to create. Obviously you cannot go beyond this, but you can anyway choose to create anything less than this. So let's say in our case we want 1000, you can just change it to 1000. If you want 10,000, you can also do that. So let's change it to 1000 because that's what we are going to build today. So we want 1000 characters based on this particular component set that we have added in the main character. So let's add 1000 and hit generate. It takes a little bit of time. I think it's pretty fast actually, just takes less than a minute, and just be patient. And once that is done, we have our 1000 NFTs ready. So if you see, all the NFTs, all the different combinations that are possible is now ready here, and all the 1000 variations are here. If you see, just by using all those different components, it was able to generate different characters for me, and everyone is unique. No two will be having exactly same characters, right? So that's the beauty of this plugin, and that's the beauty of how you have to do it. So I explained you all the steps, and this is the same step you have to follow for any plugin in Figma to create 1000 NFTs. Now this looks pretty gorgeous since we're doing it in Figma. So one drawback is that right now if you go to any OpenSea website or any website, NFT website, let me just quickly show you. So we are in OpenSea right now, and this is one of the collections that you see. Now on the left side of the collection, you will see properties of that collection, and here it's showing me all the traits on which, by combining which, this particular NFT was created, right? And it's also telling me that it used 11% of this trait, 8% of this trait, 7% of this trait, and 2% of this traits. The idea and this is basically called a metadata. The idea basically behind these numbers or this percentage is that you want some of your NFTs to be more rare than others. So right now we have not given all of these parameters that this trait should be more rare than this trait, or maybe crown should appear as only one, right? All those rules we are not able to add it because the plugin do not accept any one of these sort of parameters. So that's the I would say disadvantage of this plugin or any plugin that is available right now on Figma, is that you cannot define the rarity of a particular trait. You cannot say that this trait is rare and should only appear one, because the idea for these sort of traits to be rare is that you can price them higher than the other variants in the entire NFT collection. So if something has, let's say, a hair as well as a crown or some teeth like this, you can say that this should be priced higher than the other ones. So that is something that you won't be able to do with this plugin, and that's a drawback. To do these sort of changes where you are defining the number of percentage and traits, how much traits goes to which sort of character, these require slightly better and slightly sophisticated algorithms. They are available on different platforms. They're also available on GitHub repositories. So you need some algos to do that, but you won't be able to do that from the plugin that we just saw. So that's the only disability. I mean, that's the only drawback that I would say. But if you're okay with this, if you're just beginning, just starting out, I think this is good enough to start with. That's it for today's video. By the way, I've only explained how to generate these NFTs, but if you want a video where I should explain you how to upload these NFTs to different platforms, then let me know in the comments, because that will be a slightly more technical video. So in case you want it, just let me know in the comments and I'll try to create a new video around it, because that will require more complex discussions. But for now, I hope you like this video, and you like this video, share with others. Let me know your feedback in the comments, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care. Bye bye.